media relations department, we jump on every opportunity to engage with reporters. Earlier this year, some TV anchors in Minneapolis were doing a segment about Earth Day, and they made a snide comment about PETA while talking about donuts. So we wrote them a nice letter, and we also sent them some vegan donuts. They ate the donuts on the air, and they loved them. Then they spent 4 minutes just talking about PETA. One host actually said, "I thought PETA was going to cancel me, but they sent donuts, God love them." They promoted spaying and neutering. They talked about being kind to animals, and at the end of the segment, they told PETA to keep up the good work.
So several years ago, a few colleagues and I went to Delaware, one of the biggest chicken-producing states in the United States, and dressed up as commando chicks. There were these colorful outfits with these big Carmen Miranda hats on, and we took a Time reporter with us, and he dressed up as a big chicken. We went in to the meat department, stuck these stickers on the chicken packages. It was an amazing day. It ended up in Time magazine. It started a wonderful relationship with that reporter, but the fun thing was that night we all went back to our little Motel 6 and we were enjoying vegan Chinese food together, and we heard something at our hotel door. So we walked over, opened it, looked down, and there's this homeless, beautiful white cat just standing there, looked up, marched right in the room like he owned the place, jumped up on the bed, and that was it. He was there to stay. One of my colleagues adopted him, and he lived a wonderful, long, healthy life with her. And the funny thing of it was, this all took place in front of the reporter, and he looked at us and he was like, "So does this happen every time PETA does a protest? Some homeless animal comes and finds you?"
During our Endangered Species Act lawsuit against Tim Stark, who was one of the abusers featured in the Netflix documentary series Tiger King, he gave a media interview in which he went on one of his typical rants. However, in this particular interview, he outdid himself. He was so upset at our effectiveness that he called us walking human flesh devils, certainly one of the all-time greats. And in fact, our legal team loved it so much that they had t-shirts made up with that phrase on it for everybody on the team.
I was at a Scottish festival held at the county fairgrounds once, and adjacent to it was the county fair racetrack. So I walked over to take a look, and I started chatting with the guy who worked at the starter gate. After a few moments of talking about the jockeys and trainers, I asked casually, "Do you ever catch jockeys using shock devices?" He said, "Oh yeah, and they throw them in the dirt right after they cross the finish line." And I dropped in a few questions about drugs. "Oh yeah," he said, "that's a problem. What about horses getting injured?" "They do," he said, "all the time." After about 10 minutes of this, he asked, "Want to grab a beer after this? Unless you're one of those PETA people." And he laughed like he'd told the funniest joke. "Oh, I am one of those people," I answered. "Have been for years." All the blood just strained out of his face, and he blurted out, "Oh my God, I was just kidding. Please, please don't let PETA shut down this track."